Some fighters chase fame, some chase belts. But Naoya Inoue, he chases legacy. He doesn't just fight to win, he fights to prove something, that he's more than a champion, more than a name. He's a force of nature. When the arena goes dark and the crowd holds its breath, Inoue walks forward, collected and deadly. He's not there to survive, he's there to dominate. And on one unforgettable night, across the ring from him stood another warrior, Marlon the Nightmare Tapales. Two champions. 4 belts. Only one would leave with everything. What followed wasn't just another victory. It was a violent masterpiece that took a dark turn. Naoya Inoue had already conquered one world. At bantamweight, he destroyed every opponent brave enough to face him, unifying all 4 world titles, leaving behind a trail of broken bodies and unforgettable knockouts. They called him the Monster for a reason. Inoue wasn't just winning fights, he was redefining dominance. Every punch he threw carried purpose. Every movement had precision. His power wasn't wild, it was controlled destruction. He'd already made history as the first undisputed bantamweight champion of his era, but greatness doesn't rest. For Inoue, there was always another mountain to climb. So he moved up to super bantamweight, chasing new challenges and bigger glory. There he crushed Stephen Fulton, the reigning king of the division, dismantling him with precision and violence to claim half of the belts. Now one more man stood in his way of becoming a 2-division undisputed champion, the proud Filipino warrior Marlon Tapales, known as the Nightmare. Tapales wasn't just a belt holder, he was a finisher, a fighter who had stopped 20 men before they could stop him. He earned his nickname not from arrogance, but from experience. He dethroned champions before, and he wasn't afraid of monsters. This was unified versus unified, a collision of champions to decide the undisputed king of the 122-pound division. For Inoue, it was about history. For Tapales, it was about respect. And for the fans, it was about witnessing something unforgettable. Tokyo's Ariake Arena, December 26, 2023. A packed crowd. Thousands of fans. The air felt heavy with expectation. Inoue walked to the ring with his usual calm blonde hair, cold stare, eyes locked on his target. He didn't need to speak. His presence was enough. When asked days before the fight why he didn't take an easier tune-up match, Inoue gave a simple answer. I don't have the mental strength for tune-ups. I need maximum motivation. That was his mindset. Total commitment, no shortcuts. Across the ring stood Marlon Tapales, proud, fearless, ready to shock the world again. He wasn't intimidated. He'd come from the Philippines to Japan with one goal: to beat the unbeatable. The referee gave his final instructions, the crowd went silent, and then the bell rang. From the opening seconds, both fighters looked sharp. Tapales came forward cautiously, throwing jabs, testing the distance. Inoue studied him with no wasted movement, no emotion, just calculation. Every time Tapales threw a punch, Inoue took a small step back, ready to counter. Tapales landed a few body shots early, but Inoue didn't flinch. He was downloading information, reading patterns. Then came that lightning-quick 1-2 combination, Inoue's signature, right down the middle. Tapales blocked most of it, but the message was clear. I can reach you whenever I want. The crowd roared. The fight was alive. Round 2 looked similar at first, both men trading jabs, testing angles. But Inoue was slowly tightening the trap. He began doubling and tripling his jab, changing levels, making Tapales guess. Tapales tried to use a high guard, keeping his hands up tight, but Inoue's precision found openings. He'd land a jab, then slip to the side and dig a left hook into the ribs, hard and fast. Tapales winced slightly. It was a small reaction, but Inoue noticed. He always notices. The monster's strategy was simple. Break the body, then take the head. By the end of round 2, the difference in speed was obvious. Tapales was game, but Inoue's timing was otherworldly. By round 3, Inoue was in rhythm. His combinations flowed like a machine. Jab, right hand, left to the body. Tapales tried to fight back, firing hooks of his own, but every time he did, Inoue answered with sharper counters. The Japanese crowd erupted as Inoue began walking Tapales down. Step by step, Tapales stayed brave, refusing to back off. He was throwing punches, but his high guard was starting to betray him. And then, in round 4, it happened. Inoue feinted low, then whipped a right hand over the top. Tapales didn't see it. The punch crashed around his guard, landing flush. Down he went. The monster had struck. Tapales tried to get up quickly, but his legs wobbled. The referee gave him the count, and somehow the Filipino warrior nodded, ready to continue. Inoue's face was expressionless. He didn't celebrate, he just went back to work. Tapales refused to quit. Even after the knockdown, he came back swinging in round 5. He started landing a few good body shots, testing Inoue's defense. The commentators praised his courage, and rightly so. Tapales wasn't there to survive, he came to fight. But Inoue remained composed. He knew the pattern. He knew how this story would end. He began throwing combinations with surgical precision. A right hand to the guard, a left hook around it, a straight punch to the body. Tapales would land 1, maybe 2 punches, but Inoue would answer with 4. Each shot had weight, purpose, and speed. By round 6, Tapales was breathing harder. His face was swelling. His body was red from the punishment, but still he smiled through the pain and nodded at Inoue, as if to say, "You'll have to knock me out to stop me." And Inoue simply thought, "Okay." Round 7 was pure war. Both fighters stood in the center of the ring, trading shots. The crowd was on its feet. Tapales landed a clean left hand, followed by a right hook that got Inoue's attention. For a brief moment, the monster was pushed back, but that moment didn't last long. Inoue adjusted instantly, doubling up on his right hand, mixing angles, cutting off the ring. Tapales was showing incredible heart, but the punishment was catching up. Every time he threw, he left himself open, and Inoue found those openings like a sniper. By the end of the round, Tapales looked exhausted, his punches losing power, and the monster was ready to finish the job. Round 8 began quietly, too quietly. Inoue circled, patient. Tapales tried to stay mobile, but his legs were heavy. The Japanese crowd could feel it. The end was near. Tapales raised his hands, high guard once again. Inoue smiled faintly. He'd seen that guard before. He knew how to break it. Then with perfect timing, he stepped in and unleashed a devastating right hand straight through the gloves. The punch landed clean. Tapales froze, then collapsed. The referee began counting, but everyone already knew it was over. Tapales tried to rise. His heart wanted to, but his body couldn't. Naoya Inoue had done it again. The monster roared, standing tall as the arena exploded in celebration. He was now the undisputed super bantamweight champion of the world, the first man in boxing history to unify all 4 belts in 2 different weight classes. The crowd cheered, but there was a strange silence that followed, a kind of awe mixed with disbelief. Tapales sat on his stool, battered but proud. He had given everything. He didn't lose because of fear. He lost to a fighter operating on a different level. Inoue didn't gloat. He bowed respectfully, as he always does. That's the contrast of the monster, unstoppable power, but humble spirit. In that moment, he joined Terence Crawford as the only fighters in modern history to become undisputed in 2 weight classes. It was a rare achievement, a mark of true greatness. This was Inoue's 19th knockout in 21 world title fights. A staggering 90.4% knockout rate, the highest ever among champions. Numbers don't lie, neither do eyes. What everyone witnessed that night was not just another fight, it was a moment of history, but it also carried a darker note, because behind the glory, behind the cheers, you could see the toll it took on both men. Inoue's precision was beautiful, but it was also brutal. Tapales gave his soul in that ring. That's the price of greatness. Beauty and pain, bound together. In boxing, there are champions, and then there are legends. Naoya Inoue has now crossed that line. He's not just Japan's pride, he's a global icon, a symbol of discipline, humility, and destruction. He doesn't talk trash, he doesn't play games. He trains, he fights, and he wins, with style, precision, and respect. Marlon Tapales reminded the world that courage still matters, that even when the odds are impossible, a true fighter never backs down. But Naoya Inoue reminded us of something else, that every era has its monster, and this one wears gloves. His journey isn't over. He's already talking about new challenges, new weight divisions, new history to make. Because for Naoya Inoue, fighting isn't about collecting belts. It's about pushing limits, his and everyone else's. The night he beat Marlon Tapales, he didn't just unify the super bantamweight division, he unified something far greater, the world's admiration for a fighter who turns violence into art.